Hello, and welcome to the 13.4 kickoff video for the Geo team. This is Nick, Engineering Manager for Geo, filling in one more time for our Product Manager, Fabian. We've made some nice progress towards our goal of disaster recovery viable maturity in 13.3, and in 13.4 we are going to continue to work towards completion of our DR viable maturity epic. We are also going to begin working on some exciting features that we consider part of disaster recovery complete maturity. One notable achievement from 13.3 that I wanted to highlight is that we've removed the reliance on foreign data wrappers. Foreign data wrappers were originally implemented to perform cross-database queries between the primary and secondary Geo nodes. Despite the technical elegance of this approach, these queries have led to a number of problems for Geo, and with FDW removed in 13.3 in favor of a new backfill implementation, it will be easier for customers to set up and maintain Geo, and they'll see performance improvements when syncing large amounts of data. In 13.3, we made a lot of progress on replication for Terraform state files and external merge request diffs, and we plan to wrap up this work early in 13.4. In working through replication for these additional blob data types, we found opportunities to improve the Geo self-service framework. This will make it easier for developers adding new data types to add georeplication support, and ultimately means that customers will not have to wait as long for new data to have replication support. We've also started on supporting replication for snippets via the self-service framework. This requires us to implement a new replication strategy for repository data types. Once we've shipped replication for Terraform state files, external MR diffs, and snippets, Geo will replicate nearly 90% of the data types that we plan to support. Another important part of our plan to move disaster recovery from minimal to viable maturity is an improvement in our failover documentation. We're currently working on runbook style documentation for a failover with common configuration scenarios, such as a two-site single node Geo installation with an omnibus managed database. Now I'm going to talk about some work that we're considering as part of our disaster recovery complete maturity. In 13.4, we are going to continue working to support Postgresql high availability on Geo secondaries using a Patroni standby cluster. Patroni is currently an experimental feature in Omnibus, and we expect that support for a Patroni cluster on a Geo secondary will involve iterative updates to Omnibus and the documentation to improve the ease of setup and maintenance. Speaking of maintenance, we are also excited to begin work on a read-only maintenance mode. Currently, system administrators have no way of enabling a maintenance mode. This feature will be useful in scenarios such as a planned over from a primary to a secondary. A system administrator would be able to easily block access to a running GitLab installation in order to allow the state between the primary and secondary to be fully synced before the planned failover. And finally, unrelated to disaster recovery maturity, we are going to ensure that Geo works with Postgresql 12. Postgres 12 is available as an opt-in version in GitLab 13.3. Because the recovery.conf file is no longer used in Postgres 12, we need to update our script that initiates Geo replication. We also have to ensure that the upgrade process from Postgres 11 to 12 is properly documented and that we fix any potential issues. So until this work is done in 13.4, we do not recommend customers use Postgres 12 with Geo in 13.3. So that does it for our walkthrough of 13.4. The team is excited to continue working on improvements to our disaster recovery capabilities. I'll end with the usual disclaimer that we plan ambitiously and work in a continuous iterative Kanban style. So these plans are always subject to change, and we'll be sure to provide regular updates in our epics and issues. All right, thank you so much for watching. Bye.